Hi everybody, welcome to Woodfired Weekly at Manna from Devon Cooking School. This week we are getting ready for Christmas. We're going to be cooking mince pies and some fantastic sausage rolls. We're going to be using the small Bushman this week for this, and this is a lovely retained heat oven, so I'm going to be cooking without fire in the oven. I've heated the oven up for about an hour or so, a little bit longer maybe, so it's not quite but almost saturated, and I've pushed the embers to the sides because I don't want the floor too hot when I start cooking. And now I'm going to take those embers out. Into my trusty galvanized bucket. I'm not going to be cooking directly on the floor of the oven, so I'm not worried about cleaning it out. So I'm just going to pop the door on, allow everything to even out, allow all the temperatures to even out. That'll take about 15 or 20 minutes, which is about as long as it's going to take me to put together my sausage rolls. So we're using a ready-made pastry from a well-known national supermarket, and it's probably just a tiny bit too narrow for what I want. So I'm going to give it a very small rolling out, just to widen it a tiny bit. And here I've got some sausage meat already rolled out into strips, and then I can roll it a tiny bit more so it just fits onto my pastry there. Same with this one. So then I can cut straight down there. A little bit of water to seal it along the edge. And now we need some secret ingredient in the war on making the best possible sausage rolls. So on this one I'm going to grate some Parmesan. End of a block of Parmesan we've got here. This is a great way of using that up. Lots of that. On this one we're going to have some marmalade. Orange and pork are a fantastic combination. That's going to be great. Now we've got that, we can roll up the sausage rolls. Trying to keep them nice and tight and getting a nice seal on the bottom. On top of those, an egg wash for a lovely glossy finish. And then a few sesame seeds. And then we're slashing those so they can expand and not burst. So we're going to have a look at the oven and see if it's about right. And we want to start these off at kind of above, certainly above 200 degrees, maybe 230 degrees, get it nice and puffed up. I like to cook these first because if we get a little bit too brown on the outside of these, it's not quite as important because these are savoury as it would be if it was our mince pies. So take the door off and put my hand in there. Sort of 3.5 Mississippi-ish. And I can also use the gun here, 300, 320, 280, 280. So an average of 300, I take off about 20%, 240 degrees. I'd say that was about right actually, so I'm pretty happy to go straight in with these. So I'm going to pop those in, pop the door on, and I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes. I'll be using a probe thermometer because we're using sausage meat. I use a probe thermometer to make sure we're up to temperature, and I'll have a glance in 5 minutes just to make sure they're not browning too quickly. If they are, bit of tin foil over the top, just slow that browning down a tiny bit. Okay, now we can make mince pies. But this pastry is a little bit thicker than I need it, so I am going to roll it out a little. So I'm happier with that, only kind of 2 or 3 millimeters thick in this case. Okay, we need 16 lids. So now I'm going to pop a little bit of mincemeat into each of these pies. And then pop one on each mince pie. We're now going to have a look at the sausage rolls and see how they're coming on. They look fabulous. A nice dark colour. So they look cooked. The important thing is that we check the sausage meat to make sure it is cooked through. And for sausage meat, we want 68 degrees in the centre. And I always sort of check one in the middle, and maybe if there's one which is a little bigger than the rest, I'll check that as well. 74, 75. So they look lovely and cooked. They feel nice and crisp on the bottom, crisp on the top. We're happy with those. Now we're going to do a little egg wash on top of the mince pies. On top of these, I'm going to sprinkle a few little sugar nibs. And if we put these in at the heat that we put the sausage rolls, we'd probably find this burnt, but we will have lost a bit of heat now. The sausage rolls will have taken a little bit of heat out of the oven. And we can just check that. 240, 275, 250. So quite a lot has come out. Let's score that an average of 240 and take 20% off that. So 200, just over 200 maybe. So we've certainly come down 30 or 40 degrees. And this is only a little 60 centimetre oven, of course. If I was doing the same thing in the larger oven, I'd have to take account of the fact that that holds a lot more energy, and if I put one tray of sausage rolls in the middle of that, it might react differently to one tray of sausage rolls in the middle of this one. But I think they're going to be fine in there, so we're going to give those 12 minutes and then have a look after 12 minutes. Time to have a look at the mince pies. And they look wonderful. Nice dark colour on top. Means the pastry will be beautifully cooked through. So there we are, lovely crispy mince pies, super delicious sausage rolls, all ready for Christmas. Thank you for watching this video. We'll provide the recipe on our blog, and there'll be a link below to get through to that. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you next time, and have a happy Christmas.